And here we are with our post-series interview because Team Liquid Academy just won in a 2-0 Wait a minute. Wait, I thought that the script said Team Liquid 2-0. Well, why are we all here?
You got last night's script. I got this morning's script. I was talking with Kelsey before the show, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to have a 2-0 game, and we're going to have a 2-1 close series. She's like, what is that supposed to mean? I'm like, well, obviously, the FlyQuest Dignitas is going to be the 2-0, and Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses is going to be the 2-1.
Well, it at least must have been close, right? Like, Evil Geniuses Academy barely scraped it out at the end, right?
Sure, if that makes you feel better.
20-0.
No. I don't think anybody in the chat could have possibly expected that if a 20-0 scoreline would have happened, that it'd be Team Liquid who lost. But that's what just happened, Steve. And that was insane. I can't believe that Evil Geniuses Academy are looking this good today.
So let's break it down. But let's break it down in a fun way. Because, of course, while we're waiting for players to get ready for pick and ban of Game 3, the deciding game in this series, we like to have a little bit of fun on the broadcast here.
No, we don't.
And relive the last game with a game show that we called Pixel Perfect. I was taking screenshots. I know, haha. I did a little joke at the beginning of the show. I was watching that game. And more than that, I was documenting certain moments that happened throughout it and screenshotting them at different resolutions. Let's put it that way. So this game, you earn points by guessing the moment in the game that it happened. Production, let's run the graphic to show how the point system works. There are 16-bit images worth 1 point. You can kind of tell what's going on in these images. They're not too bad. Then the 8-bit is a little grainier, a little tougher, worth 2 points. And 1-bit, good luck if you even understand a single thing that is on your screen. Those are worth 3 points if you can manage one of those. And because Smacks is the newer member to the broadcast this summer, and also it's been a while since we've played this one together, I'm actually going to give this one up to Smacks first. So Smacks, looking at the options, coward. What do you want to go for?
Don't be a coward.
All right, let's do a 1-bit.
Yes! 1-bit.
Ah, yes. Respect gained right there. If like it was a video game, it's like plus 100 respect for you, Smacks.
So if for anybody wondering why Magical's so excited, he gets upset anytime somebody picks a 16 or an 8-bit first. It always requires a 1-bit. All right, so Summer, this is what is on the screen for context.
I actually know what this is.
What is the moment in the game that I took this screenshot?
This one's easy.
Oh, it looks like Saligo's Lysandra was me. Well, now I can't see it. Okay, it's almost certainly Saligo's Lysandra. I think this is just as he is flashing and engaging off of the blue wall, and he's getting the flash 3-man W snare. I think that's what this is. Okay.
That is incorrect.
Unfortunately, it's where Saligo goes into the pit, into the dragon pit, and I thought that he was gonna die, and then he somehow turns it around and is able to kill.
Ding, 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 ding.
I knew immediately.
Absolutely.
Literally immediately. I'm like, oh, I got this one.
That was a big moment in the game, right?
I saw the pit now. Yeah.
So let's talk about Saligo.
Huge.
Let's talk about the player. Let's talk about the champion he's played and gotten wins on more than any other champ this summer. Do you happen to know the champion that I'm talking about, Summer?
Lysandra?
Yes! Woo! Yes! This guy loves this champion. And for some reason, they just give it to him. I don't understand it. Like, okay, I know that everybody played a good game, but Evil Geniuses Academy, it is hilarious how much better they look as a team when they have Lysandra, and it was a really good comp to pull it out as well. I think Soligo's performance just kind of highlighted why they work so well. He's able to go in and make plays happen. He's able to play safe and kind of bait people into him where that TLA overextended that situation.
Yeah, but it was a really good game from him. Good matchup as well for it.
Very good.
3 points to Magical, as you did steal that one, and now it's back over to Magical, who gets to select. I'm just gonna. I know you're going for a 1-bit, so I'm not gonna waste anyone's time. This one's gonna be tough for you though, because I don't know. When do you think this happened?
Well,
this is Magical. This is Magical. Yes.
So obviously someone on a free hints. Obviously someone who's on a rampage, and I think.
But who?
I think
which rampage?
Right, that's what I'm trying to decipher. I think it's when Asserti went on his rampage.
I hate you. How did you? There were like 5 rampages in the entire game.
Because I'm big brain, man.
Man,
never doubt.
man. All right. Well, there you go. There you have it. In a game with what I think literally there were 4 rampages on the side of the EG. Yeah, it was kind of silly. Obviously, in a 20-0 game, maybe that's to be expected, but it shows that everyone was pulling their weight, right? This didn't feel like one person was hard carrying EGA over the finish line. It felt like everybody was just mad after game number 1. I was like, nope, we're not going to let that one happen again. Whew,
I'm learning very quickly that I should not be playing Magical's game in this one, as I physically cannot win anymore.
If you get every other one, so if you're able to get your next 2 and Magical misses and you steal, you can actually match 6 points. So what you going to go for, Smacks?
Let's do an 8-bit.
8-bit. All right, let's see it. What is the context of this image on your screen?
Oh, this is strange.
Yeah, this one's really weird.
Oh, this is really hard. Okay, I think this is. Oh, okay, I got it. This is when Surdy is in that 1v1 in the bot lane, but then it's not a 1v1 anymore, and Lulu comes and ults.
Yes, I think that
is it. Ding, yep. That is correct. Absolutely. Smoothie was all over the place this game. Literally, this Lulu, I mean, the laning phase aside, Smoothie was a part of like pretty much every impactful moment, every impactful play. Yep. And it's just absurd. If you watch just Smoothie's movement throughout that game, throughout like just the map, if you're just tracking Lulu on the minimap and had like a heat map, the whole thing's covered. Like Smoothie was everywhere.
I think it really comes down to the fact that they won the 2v2 in bottom lane as Sivir Lulu into Lucian Nami. Like that completely spells disaster for the Lucian Nami lane. You can't really come back from that. So yeah, really well played for Smoothie in the lane, and then he extended it after that one too, for sure.
So, again, I'm not going to waste time, Magical. I know you're going for the 2-bit.
Oh. The claw!
Or the 8-bit, rather.
This is the one that Smacks had just talked about. The Flash Forward Ring of Frost claw.
Now, the fun thing, Magical, is guess how much longer after the last one was that this happened?
How much longer after the last one? The one.
Literally the last replay or the last screenshot we looked at. How many seconds have passed?
Oh God, probably like 10 seconds at most.
So this is
I'm gonna say 6 seconds.
This was 17:30.
Oh, it's 15
seconds.
I was close.
Smoothie literally goes bot, saves Surdy, and then flashes this wall with the ball of Solico to go for this play. Again, it's just to highlight how in sync everybody on Evil Geniuses Academy was in this game. Everybody was making these snap calls at the same time together, and it got them such a massive lead. And already at that point, they had that lead. But hey, this is another reason, Smacks, why you don't give Solico that Lissandra.
My score is a sad face now.
A sad face. Smacks cannot mathematically get back. Well, let's wrap up the last 2. Pick and Ban is close to being ready, everybody. So as we're waiting for game number 3, let's go over 16-bit number 1. Magical, do you want to guess this one, or do you just want to give Smacks the opportunity?
I'm just gonna give Smacks the opportunity.
All right, Smacks, what's going on here?
That's a Rift Herald.
Yes.
I believe this is the first Rift Herald where we see Tomio secure this one.
This Absolutely. Ding. And what I was highlighting there, kind of tough to tell, Cowrie was faster on the rotation. If you look at the bottom right there, you see the minimap. Lucian, way slower. Jan did not make it to this fight in time, and having just an extra person there meant that Evil Geniuses Academy can secure it. Let's just get right into the next one, because Pick and Ban is right around the corner. What is the context of this image, Smacks?
Oh. Well, that's a Lulu ult. It's around the Drake pit.
I already know this one. Yeah.
Yeah, Magical's getting really good at this game.
Go right ahead. Tell me what it is.
So it's the play where I said, Tomio, how did he live? He barely survived with any health and was able to get out because of the wild card.
Yep, absolutely. So, again, Smoothie, I know that I said before, it felt like nobody was solo carrying this game. Everybody was carrying their weight. I will say I think Smoothie was carrying a little extra weight than everybody else. maybe like 5 pounds from everybody else's rucksack Smoothie put in his bag, because this Lulu was keeping everybody alive, saving plays left and right, always following up, and always at the right moment when he needed to be. So props to Smoothie on Evil Geniuses Academy for having an incredible game 2 right there. And he's a player that we've known for years. He's played at the LCS level. And I mean, I think Smacks, you might have said this, or it might have been Magical. Somebody mentioned that this bot lane is not one that we expected coming into a Proving Grounds to be incredibly strong based on what we saw last spring. But Smoothie, very different support from Skytech from last split. Yeah. Maybe that's what Evil Geniuses Academy need. But I am here, the pick and ban is ready, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Everybody, let's throw it back over to Magical and Smacks for the last time in game number 3.
Last time for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more Proving Grounds action, so don't forget about that. But make sure you watch the conclusion of this one, because with the fact you have a team that struggled in Summer Split in Evil Geniuses Academy, a team that hasn't been able to take off a single win from Team Liquid Honda since January of this year. They get this victory, they tie up a best-of-3 series at 1 apiece, and now are on the precipice of doing it to Team Liquid Academy, the same that was done upon CLG last split.
They still got to win one more game here, Magical, and I can't imagine that Team Liquid Honda are going to let themselves win, or going to let themselves go out like that, where they have no kills at all in that second game and then they lose the third. That's not the Team Liquid Honda that I know. So I'm betting this is going to be a lot more competitive than game 2, especially now that Team Liquid Honda are back on the blue side. We've already said, actually, I think we said this in the break, Magical, but you mentioned after that game that Team Liquid, or blue side,
yes, blue side.
Excuse me, blue side has not lost a single game today.
Yep, of the 4 games we've already witnessed, all 4 were won on by the team on the blue side, 2 for Dignitas, 1 for Team Liquid, 1 for Evil Geniuses, and this being the final one, the 5th one. We'll see if that ends up being 100% for the first day here in our second week of the Proving Grounds. But as we get into the Champions League and kind of get through, we see not the jungle bans, but mostly marksman bans.
That's pretty funny. We're really seeing that the attacks from these bans are happening in the bottom lane. Lucian following it up to 4 marksmen taken off the board. Zeri is still available, but I'm picturing that the junglers are really going to start pouring in now that they're not banned at all. You really get your pick of the litter here for Team Liquid as they are on that blue side. If they want to first pick a jungler, this is the time to do it. They're going to. It's going to be that Trundle.
Trundle for Armeo did great in the first game. I talked about the control he had with neutral objectives. While he didn't have the most impact in lanes, he made sure that everyone was pretty much set up for when they got to the mid game and started to group up. And here has that, but it's not the counter pick like it had been in that series. Instead, it's first pick with Poppy still being open if Tomio wants to go back to that, and had a great performance into Trundle. It was just eventually you get to a point where Trundle just subjugates you and makes sure that you're not really going to be worth your salt.
Ooh, not going to go for it, though. Instead, it's going to be right back to the Wukong for Tomio. No Poppy this time. And he looked really solid on that Wukong in the last game, having so much setup from Smoothie on that Lulu to really bolster everything that Wukong wants to do. You give him all the extra HP, the shielding, and when the second Cyclone is still warming up, you effectively get like a third mini Cyclone with the Wild Growth. So I like that pick a lot.
Oh, Jinx for Cowrie. Okay. Going into the hyper-scaling marksman, and I'm expecting an Aphelios for Yon on the other side.
Could be Zeri. Zeri is still up. You can go for a Zeri Yumi in this position if that's something the Team Liquid Honda would like to do. I don't know if that's what they're feeling, though.
I feel like you gotta go Aphelios Tom Kench here, don't you, to deny the Tom Kench for Jinx?
I don't know. I feel like Jinx Lulu is pretty good.
That's a good point.
Neither of us are right. It's instead going to be a poke lane here. Ezreal and Karma together, giving Team Liquid a lot of mid-game agency once it comes to the siege, and they do have still a hyper carry, different brand of hyper carry than the Aphelios or the Jinx or the Zeri, but still one regardless here for Yon.
Also makes it a little bit more difficult for Smoothie to reliably grab Tom Kench here. Really difficult lane to face off against both a Ezreal and a Karma, but they go for Smoothie on something that will be more of a playmaking tool, something that will throw his body in front of everybody to try to see if they can catch him, as well as the non-committal engage that you get. And that's, I think, one of the important things, because it's just point and click onto Ezreal. It doesn't matter how many times you dash away, it will follow.
That's true. As much of a Nautilus hater as I am, you can't deny that into Ezreal you don't have a lot of options if you want to kill him specifically, and that depth charge is one of the few. So I think it's... I still don't like Nautilus, but it makes sense. So I understand why Smoothie's doing it.
I love Nautilus, but I also used to play a lot of Nautilus mid before it was cool. I played AP Nautilus mid lane and was able to solo kill many Aries back when she was also meta then. And then playing bot lane was also the champion that I innovated building rushing Omrecker as support on. So there you go, some more fun facts.
Can you call it innovating if you're the only one that does it and nobody ever does it?
Because I'm that important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you're an innovator, Magical.
Thank you. Let me have this. I don't have much.
Yeah, you've got it.
All right.
There is a possibility that there's a Volibear on the side of Evil Geniuses, and maybe that we get the Omrecker too. It would have to be top lane, and I don't think that's happening.
With the Wukong already picked up for Evil Geniuses, if they decided to go for that. Of course, good to see Armeo maybe flex that Trundle into the top lane. I would like to see some flexes, some things shifted around, but at the moment, with how the bans are going, we're seeing mid and top lane focus for both teams. I'm wondering if that is... Oh, no, the Azir's already been taken away. What was that other thing that we like? Kali, actually, that I was expecting, but no.
Yeah.
It is good. It is Gnar.
We could end up seeing the same mid lane matchup that we saw in the last game, though, because neither LeBlanc nor Lissandra are taken off the board. And EG are actually going to save their counter pick for mid lane right here. It's going to be a Camille, if that's going to be locked in anyway, for Surdy. I like it quite a bit. It's that same style that we've known Surdy to be so good at for many years already.
We got baited.
The switch up.
The switcheroo. But now this is a blind Renekton that we have. The blind Camille is already something I'm kind of fishy on, except for the fact that it's one of Surdy's most played champions in his entire career, and something that he's really been proud of how he's able to play that champion. But the Renekton, blind. I'm curious as why that is, if it's maybe trying to force the hand of Bradley and say, all right, what do you want to draft into this? Do you want to go for your Gangplank again, or are you now going to be hit onto tank duty?
Wow. Well, it's the second one, as he is playing the Scion in the top lane. Really wild stuff. And it's setting up a crazy strong front line for Jan's Ezreal. You already have that Trundle from before, but now there's a Scion that you have to cut through. This is going to be a near unkillable Ezreal in this game for Jan. This is make or break in the series. This is the last game of the day. Everything is here for Jan to succeed. It's just going to be up to him to see if he actually can.
It's also the last game for one of these teams in the upper bracket. The loser will be knocked down into the lower bracket. For Evil Geniuses, the fact they were able to get a near perfect game off of Team Liquid Honda in the last one. And here, they draft Saligo's Orianna. I talked about Lissandra being one of the main champions that Saligo has played throughout his entire career. The second best being Orianna.
All right, some zone threat is here for Evil Geniuses, giving a lot of range control for them, which they were otherwise lacking apart from the Flame Chompers. Buying some space for Cowrie, who is also a very powerful late game marksman on this team. Not nearly the same amount of frontline for him in this game. Not nearly the same amount of utility either, because Ayla is playing the Enchanter. Both supports have been spamming the Enchanters in this series so far. Smoothies going the other direction this time around, trying to go for lockdown onto Jan. And Ayla, he's sticking true. He's going with that Enchanter one more time, a third time in this series, and trying to make sure that Jan is able to deal as much damage as possible. Very different styles from the supports, and we'll see which one reigns supreme. I think both supports have been doing a great job today.
I'll be honest, going into this day, I was expecting 2-2-0s. I was memeing when I talked about with Kelsey. It's like I did that for her benefit with Evil Geniuses. But Evil Geniuses today are playing like the Evil Geniuses we've been expecting of them for a some time. And if they can replicate what they did in the second game against Team Liquid Honda here, that is a huge tour de force that will now be in the upper bracket that everyone's going to have to witness. While Team Liquid Honda, of course, they have a lot of pride on this. They are the reigning champions of Proving Grounds. So dropping this third and final game to Evil Geniuses is just not the answer that they will settle for.
Well, let's see it. Let's find out who has the guts to take it all the way to the upper bracket semifinals and play against our former victors in Dignitas Academy on the stream, who already got a cleaner 2-0 than either one of these teams can hope to achieve today. Neither one of them can get that 2-0. They will have to show more in their tank than their inevitable opponents, whoever wins today. Of course, whoever loses will have to go down to that lower bracket and play in that gauntlet to try their best to remain in the Proving Grounds bracket and fight for the prizing at the end. Some of these medallions that are on the shirt that I'm wearing right now. Team Liquid already has 5 of those, looking for 5 more.
Right there, we saw a little bit of an adventure. Some shenaniganeries were attempted by Evil Geniuses Academy, and everyone knows I love my shenaniganeries early into the game. Nothing was to come of it. Instead, had to go back to their lanes. You're actually seeing a couple pings, possibly a late invade by Team Liquid Honda.
Very well could be the case. See Armeo, he's sort of on a solo mission here.
Not.
Oh no, I didn't even see that. I didn't see Bradley was there. I thought the Renekton
Wait a minute.
was Bradley, but
This
no, it's
could be a
setting
bit
up
risky
flank.
because now Saligo's already there. He can use the ball to try to get a little bit more extra damage. The flash comes in from Armeo with a command attack, getting a little bit more damage onto Armeo as well. He will survive. Doesn't take any of the chickens, though. I think those were all secured by Tomio, while Surdy will chase down the Lumberjack to the top lane.
Bradley does have grasp, but even still, he's not turning his back to get one of these kills. Or one of the pops for his grasp undying. He's gonna save that one for lane. Knows he is not favored in the auto attack duel very early on. Maybe later, but
later.
not right now.
Yeah, you got to give it a little bit more time. As at the moment, Surdy, he's playing so aggressively against Bradley, which is what you kind of can do as Renekton. People always forget about how good the lane phase is for Renekton, and facing off against the king of top lane of laning from Scouting Grounds, but in the mid lane, Bradley now is put in an uncomfortable position that we don't often see.
You know, Magical, I'm going to take this opportunity to expose some of our color casters. Both Cubby and Beatdown Boulevard, as soon as the top lane matchup was locked in, they both said that it was GG right then and there. For Team Liquid, of course, because they like the scaling here of the Scion. They like the matchup into Surdy.
That's because they're
see
cowards.
if they're right. They're not right now, I will say.
Well, yeah,
now, that's a bit facetious to say, because it's early game. I know. I was going to give the caveat, okay? Give me a moment, all right? But Tomio can make that true for longer, as he's looking for a gank already up on this top side, completely ignoring the bot camps. Bradley's level 2. There's a jungler here, and the wave is great.
Going to look to see what they can go for. Bradley was able to level up, gets a little bit of slow, but this is so difficult to be able to survive. Arcade, the flash is away, and now Bradley, he's alive and kicking, clearing out the minion waves the best he can, but it might be a reset from Evil Geniuses. The knockup comes in for Bradley, and it will be first blood for Evil Geniuses.
Oh, it looked shaky for just a moment. Wait, whoa.
Okay, I saw that too. I was about to say, maybe it's not just a second.
Anyway, Surdy and Tomio, they find first blood in this game. It goes over to Tomio himself. And even though Armeo is going to make his life very, very sad with all of the invades that are going to be so brutal against him.
Toll.
This is looking really solid for Surdy's chances up in this top lane.
It does, but that's why I wanted to interrupt you with the troll toll, because the troll is about to take a toll on mid lane. Spotted out, but Harry is on the collapse. The flash away burn by Saligo.
All right, Saligo, feeling the pressure of the troll toll, as you called it before.
You must
Armeo,
pay the troll toll.
On the hunt.
What?
What is the troll toll?
What is your name?
Summer.
What is your quest?
To cast some Proving Grounds.
And what? It's the latent speed of a swallow.
Oh, I don't remember. I'm sorry, I'm getting thrown off the bridge.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, it's African or European,
I
right?
don't know
That's
that.
what he says.
Yeah, it's then he goes, I don't know that, and gets tossed off the bridge. Yeah. So, anyways, back into this game because I derailed it again. But you know, at the moment, it was a dive in the top lane. It looked dicey for a bit there, like you talked about, for a second for Evil Geniuses, but they eventually made it work out. They got a kill for Tomio, but Armeo did punish Tomio pretty heavily with invading and taking away, I believe it was the blue buff as well as taking away the Scuttle Crab bot lane. So Armeo, he's got this lead in CS, but it's not insurmountable for Tomio at the moment.
It actually isn't. Yeah, Tomio, he's still keeping pace here. He does have a Sheen, which helps a lot. I say this quite a bit when I see Trundles do this, where you want to go for the Divine Sunderer, right? That's pretty much every jungler's first item right now in the meta anyway. Apart from the AP junglers, you see Divine Sunderer. I personally like a whole lot more when you start with the Sheen and a longsword if you have the golds for it, rather than the full Warhammer. I understand it's slightly more for Trundle because you like the pillar cooldown,
right.
But I think the Sheen just gives you all that extra burst whenever you land the chomp, and I think it's more worth it. So I like the idea here for Tomio a bit more than Armeo, and maybe it'll make the difference when we see a scuffle.
Could, because Armeo is venturing, but not alone. Has learned to bring up Ayla. It's a non-existent lane in the bot lane. Nobody's there. They're all vacated. It's Ghost Town down there. So Armeo feels confident going for that dragon, but with Surdy nearby, already rotating, not even using the TP, he might be in a position to contest this Hextech dragon. So flash comes in from Smoothie, and Armeo has to flash away, but Cowrie, he's looking for instead Ayla, as Yon was able to jump over the wall. The dragon hasn't reset just yet. They turned back their attention to see if they can take that for themselves, but now it's a little risky. Surdy is pretty low. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Harry denies the dash from Tomio, so Smoothie will die instead, as Bradley, he might be the casualty on one side, but it took so damn long for him to actually die. The zap connect the audio on, the chase out on to Cowrie and Saligo, but unfortunately zombie form cannot turn the tides of the fight.
Still a trade of 1-for-1, but Bradley, he's back alive. So is Smoothie. We'll see where their decisions take them. Bradley, he's not even trying to rejoin this fight. Smoothie might arrive in time, and Armeo, he's still too low. Still the Smite is here.
We got the root on a 30. Nice dodge away. No one securing it. A mini reset for this Hextech dragon. And look at where Harry is. He's still not on the map either, but the poke coming in from Yon. Yon loves his Ezreal, and you can see how well he's piloting the champion, trying to poke at the low health members of Evil Geniuses. And this is literally near death, but they got the pull onto Armeo, and the general's gone again. But is Harry showing up in the nick of time, or is it? Because the flash is coming in from Evil Geniuses to survive across the board.
On Evil Geniuses, wait.
Oh! Woo! Ayla, what a snipe!
Oh my god! All right, it is going to be a kill for Team Liquid. I'm just surprised that landed here for Ayla, completely blind. Shout out to the vision toggle there for our observers as Team Liquid, they at least find one. But you saw after this fight, where Bradley, he does go down super early. The ultimate is really good for Harry, but look at Bradley. He dies very early on. And then because this fight actually lasts such a long time, his decision to go top lane actually does get punished, because you see Smoothie, he actually does rejoin the team fight after quite some time. He used this blast cone to apply a bunch of extra pressure to Team Liquid. They cannot rejoin with their support. Ayla is locked into this pit, and Armeo can't possibly get a smite secure here. He tries, but he's way too far away.
And the fact that it was traded a 1-for-1 essentially out of Team Liquid is more just that consolation prize. You're like, all right, we got something. It's a max range Q that explodes right shy of him.
It's on vision too.
Yeah, so it's just perfect placement for the inner flame to actually pop and get the kill.
Well, fighting's not done yet, as Yon has found Tomio looking for a Rift Herald. Unfortunately, that is the decoy. Yeah.
The decoy. He was able to fool Harry for a bit, but honestly, probably not much. It's just you get that little dash that you have there. As again, both teams are corralling here in mid lane. This is completely different from what we saw in the previous two games. Both teams skirmishing from the get-go, constantly looking to battle one another.
Oh, here's the engage on Ayla.
The choppers too. Shutdown for Cowrie. How did Ayla have a shutdown? I don't know. But now the Croc, he's found some blood in the water and is looking for the flash out of Bradley with the Cyclone on top of Armeo. And when you kill the leader, they have nothing to do in a battle. They all retreat with the Rift Herald, the eye for Evil Geniuses.
Magical, I think Evil Geniuses, they might be doing it. They might be sending Team Liquid Academy down to the lower bracket. Yawn, is that a solo mission?
Yawn's on a solo mission. Keep in mind, he does apply a lot of damage. The eye is secured for Evil Geniuses Academy all nonetheless.
I don't think this is safe for you to do, Yawn. All right, I'm wrong.
No,
I've been
Ayla
wrong
was there.
before. I'm wrong again. Yeah, Ayla is in the vicinity, and Cowrie, Smoothie don't want to engage on this one, but look at this. This is where they do want to engage. Yes. They have so much crowd control onto Ayla. This is the difference between an enchanter and a tank. You can go for very aggressive engage plays when you're playing the tank, and if you are hit by that as the enchanter, you just die instantly. And Armeo, he has no follow-up either. All that utility is gone from Ayla. He has to fall too. Team Liquid, they're looking worse for wear in this series. That's 2 kills and a Rift Herald. Evil Geniuses, this might be a huge playoff for them that we're witnessing in front of our eyes.
Getting together as a team as well. They look far more cohesive, but the game is still afoot. Only 1,000 gold separates the two teams. While you get a bit of gold from the Rift Herald you talked about before in the day, you have that eye on Tomio. You still need to be able to apply it. And Team Liquid, I talked before in the last game. While last game didn't come through to effect, this is a team that sometimes does struggle in the early stages of the game, and then their macro is able to outpace anybody on the other side because they don't know where or when they can actually strike, and that's Team Liquid's advantage.
Well, they got to get to late game then, Magical. They've got some tools that are very useful once they do, if they do. The Talia is online. I already said before how strong Talia is at level 9. She is the best level 9 champion in the entire game, thanks to 5 points in the queue. That spell is ridiculous.
But
All we're waiting for here for Harry is his mythic item, and his damage is entirely unmatched. So see what they can do with that one. But
Orianna, I mean, it's always that first item spike you have for something like Orianna, where you can actually get a lot of damage yourself. It might not be the levels necessarily, but Orianna is no slouch when it comes to scaling into games and dishing a lot of damage. Maybe not as early as Harry's going to be able to do, but it will be very impactful nonetheless.
Ooh. And Bradley's left to his lonesome up top also with Demolish and Scion.
Start to take quite a few plays here. Okay, with 30 already down in the bot lane, it's just going to probably be the trade of the turret for the Dragon. Second one of the game. You're going over to Evil Geniuses as 30 found out Armeo. They'll flash away. The stun, the zap, they're there, but the damage is not enough from the rocket.
Call's a bit split there for Team Liquid Academy. They were thinking that maybe it would be possible to take away the Dragon, but by Bradley staying in top lane, there's really no possibility of that one at all. Ayla.
Going in on Ayla again. He's just getting bullied in this series at the moment with Armeo flashing in on Yawn. He's got the staggering blow to take him down. Evil Geniuses. It's only 13.5 minutes in the game, but they almost look like they're doing it.
Another 2 kills for Evil Geniuses Academy, and they even win the first turret race. An explosion of gold yet again, most of it onto their Jinx. The scaling is here, Magical, and Cowrie, he is getting all of this pressure. Tomio doing, again, a phenomenal job in the jungle.
And let's talk about Tomio, because honestly, just seeing the growth of this player, the jovial nature he has, this goofball, as described earlier. But when it comes to the game and how much he has learned, he is helping his team so much with facilitating, gaining leads for them. And even if here, he flashes on Yawn just to get the kill for himself, it still makes sure they can get the turret afterwards.
Yeah, it's so cool to see Tomio bring up this level of confidence and show up when they need him to the most. If Evil Geniuses win this series against the huge tournament favorites, who's the tournament favorite in the upper bracket anymore? It feels like it's entirely up for grabs. It could even potentially be Evil Genius's Academy themselves with the level of play that they're displaying for us today. Now, they still need to actually win this game. They have a really solid advantage. They even have those 2 Drakes. There's still some scaling they have to deal with. That's Aaliyah, the Scion, the Ezreal. It's all still there. It's looming over Evil Geniuses that they need to conquer this eventually. It's not going to go away easily. Cowrie's really strong, but regardless, it's still there. Team Liquid, they still have that to play with, and Evil Geniuses haven't quite conquered the beast yet.
Forcing out Cyclone out of Tomio while Smoothie's nearby, and there is a little bit of a harass coming in from Yon as he chases down Tomio. At least get rid of a pesky ult.
It's true. We saw before that Bradley was able to just have all the time to take down some structures in that side lane. Surdy was not there. Now, Surdy has to kind of play catch-up. He's down in these items
and
just a bit.
No damage.
Doesn't have his mythic quite yet. And yeah, he doesn't really do anything to the Scion anymore because of that.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of expected. When we look at the Renekton pick into Scion, it was essentially a counter pick for Bradley, but not in the lane phase. The lane phase would belong to Renekton as it usually does. But Bradley now having the Sunfire Aegis completed makes it a little bit more difficult for Surdy to actually look for those fights in the side lane. Instead, I'm looking towards Evil Geniuses and how they can transition into these team fights. They got a 1,500 gold lead. They've got the kill advantage and the dragon advantage with another neutral objective about to be claimed by them.
And you can tell they're playing for the team fights and skirmishes also. Surdy, he didn't go for the Blade of the Ring King build on Renekton, which is the only possible way that you can kill a Scion.
Yes.
No, he went for the Gore Drinker so he can be more of a front line for his team. Already seeing that Cowrie had his Mythic online and is the scaling Jinx with 4 kills. I like the call a lot from Surdy. He's not going to be useful otherwise in this game. So,
But that's
he's giving up the turret to do it, though.
He is, but this is typical Surdy play. He doesn't necessarily, I talked about how he's not necessarily the lane-dominant top laner. He is the flanker. He likes to be involved in the 5v5 fights. That's always where you get these montage reels out of Surdy with how he finds someone vulnerable and out of position each and every time you play something like this.
Well, maybe this is the time to do that with Tomio, who's already putting up numbers in that regard for his gameplay. Bolstered by Saligo on the Orianna, this team is looking pretty clean, and they still have that lead. They have a Rift Herald as well, maybe dropping it in this bottom lane as Cowrie has it on the Jinx. Not a typical way to use the Rift Herald, but Cowrie, he's dictating the pace of the game. Why not let him drop the Herald?
And I'm more surprised that you see it in the bot lane and not mid lane. Cracking open a tier 1 gives a lot more advantages to Tomio in reigning control around Armeo. Our featured matchup for a reason, but Armeo in this game is struggling against Tomio. Tomio has gotten the best of him 2 games in a row.
All right, Tomio, you're gonna have to get these Smite Secures online. Team Liquid, they've stolen him away from Tomio already a couple of times in this series, namely in that first game. Get to see if Armeo has it in him to do it again.
And you gotta bet he always does, because now it's gonna be a fight secured with Bradley, the first casualty, but he's in the zombie form, getting damage on the members he can, while Surdy got so much attention from 3 members of Team Liquid. They should be able to secure this, or can they? Steal it away, Armeo every single time that flashes in. Team
Cowrie's
Liquid,
dead!
Honda, how in the world did they just turn this game around? Saligo might get Yon with them, but Armeo, Ayla, they are hunting down Saligo with a little bit of a smite to secure it. It's an ace for Team Liquid.
And Team Liquid, they're exploding into this game. We know that they are the tournament favorites for a reason, and magical. The way that they played this fight was phenomenal from start to finish. Look at Harry. He cuts off all escape paths with his Taliyah ultimate just to start things off, and then the burst onto Smoothie immediately puts him into stasis. Not an effective frontliner any longer. Surdy gets kited to hell by Harry and Yon, and then
Chomp, just a simple chomp, not even smite, just a chomp.
Neither of the junglers have smite anymore. Just a little bite from Armeo, that's all it takes. Oh my word.
And then the fact that they get shut down for Yawn in this fight, even if he dies to Sligo, that's a lot of gold he's picked up for himself.
Yeah.
Double kills, getting shut down off of Cowrie. That was a pretty thick bounty that was on his head. Team Liquid Honda, I talked about, when it comes to how they play the macro, when it comes to how they play with one another, it's just this team that always can take it to the extra step. And right there, you saw the understanding from Harry, cut off retreats, then also utilizing all that poke they have from Yawn. He was virtually untouched except for the very bitter end of the fight.
And just force them into this down and dirty brawl against Team Liquid Academy. That's what they've just accomplished there with the TLA ultimate. It's what they can potentially continue to do in this game. Cowrie finally drops the Rift Herald, looking to maybe get something. Yeah, it definitely was about the timeout. And maybe they can get this mid turret. I don't know.
They'll at least get a lot of damage on it as long as it's able to secure the charge. There it is, taking down below half, but not the turret itself. Too many members of Team Liquid Honda were in mid lane. Where it was 1,000 gold lead, almost 1,500 for Evil Geniuses Academy just a couple minutes ago. That one fight has completely shifted it. And even if it's not a monumental or massive lead by any stretch, Team Liquid Honda do have the advantage.
And this is where the Ezreal is really going to start to come in handy for Team Liquid Honda Academy. Yawn has 2 items on Ezreal. We already saw in that last team fight that even with 2 point-click forms of crowd control, with the Renekton stun and the Nautilus ultimate, you're really just not killing him in a meaningful amount of time in the team fights. He's going to get all of his Mystic shots down, and you're not gonna have an easy time winning the team fight because of it. Yawn is the big difference maker when it comes down to these 5v5s, and EG, their forms of killing him are slim to none.
It's all reliant on Surdy and those flanks, whether or not he can get on top of an Ezreal. I'm looking more at Harry and what Harry has in the inventory as well. 2 items completed compared to the only 1 in components out of Saligo. Talk about how good Talia is. Even if level 9 is considered like the big spike, she does not get any weaker as the game progresses.
No, definitely not. It's so level 9 is the big spike because that's when the cooldown is already low enough to spam the Q.
Yes.
Every item after that just makes the Q deal infinitely more damage. It's already got a really low cooldown, but Talia is one of the best scaling champions in the game in terms of DPS, which is wild, again, because she used to just be a burst mage, but now she obliterates you. She tops the damage charts nearly every single time. It's wild. And a lot of that comes down to the big thing that was changed in her kit, which is the boulder that you get when you're playing on work ground now slows people. With
not
the
just
first...
a boulder, it's a rock.
Yeah. No, actually, you know what? You're wrong. The one Q that she throws is a boulder. They call it a boulder in the kit. Magical, your rock facts, they're no longer true.
For now.
I got one over you.
You do. And speaking of getting one over, Team Liquid still are able to utilize Bradley on the side lane to try to get more pressure in those lanes as Cowrie took a lot of damage from that True Shot barrage, was forced to heal just to get out of there. And with the fact they have to take this long path away, the turret should fall. Nice side of shove on the 30, but he will slice and dice his way out and forfeit the turret.
There it goes. Mid turret is dead. That's all the outers now. Poor Team Liquid Academy. They've got a lot of pressure here. Oh, and the bot lane turret even fell thanks to the minion wave. This is so much pressure. I was already talking about it, but the Drake should just be Team Liquid's now. They can just move directly over here. EG has to play with these waves that are being pushed into them relentlessly, and they also have to play into the Mystic shots from Honda and the Pebbles here for Harry.
You look at where Surdy is at the moment, and it's the Smoothie gets the attention. He dies before anyone else can regroup for Evil Geniuses, which means that Dragon, second one for Team Liquid Honda, will be secured.
Definitely gone here. EG have no way to play into this. I don't even think they can Jinx rocket it from where they're standing. Cowrie, he's not going to be able to do it. And, EG, their escape path might be cut off by Harry. He's so fast with the Ghost.
They were trying to see if they could topple that tier 1. They got a lot of damage on top of it, but it wasn't enough. And as you talked about, Harry, he is fast, he is moving. But Surdy is on the other side. They're getting a little bit of damage with the shockwave behind, but it's going to be a nice dodge away from Tomio at the moment, unless Harry can stop him. Missing some of the pelters. The exhaust will slow him down. Tries to go back in with the Cyclones. Got to be careful because now Surdy's on the other side with Ayla getting the heal coming in from Yon. The flash away from Surdy. He's getting whittled down. The poke over and over again, but does not connect that combo. So Surdy doing his best to sidestep what he can and skipping around. It looked all weird, but he still will die. It's killed off and made into shoes.
And Team Liquid, they have a firm control over this game now. Evil Geniuses, they played the early game well. They played the first 2 dragons well. They ganked these lanes really nicely. It feels like it may have ran out at this point as Team Liquid. They're regrouping, they're reforming, and they're revenging their last game as well. It didn't quite work. I guess the word is avenging, but yeah. You got what I was going for.
I got what you were going for. I mean, this goes back to the topic I was talking about with Team Liquid Academy. What we've seen from them the entirety of summer. Sometimes they have some stumbles in the early game, but once they can group up together, make these plays, rely on Armeo to set up some vision control for the rest of them, that's when they always look their strongest. Yon on Ezreal, one of his classic picks outside of that Zeri, is looking great with how much damage he's able to pump out.
I mean, this is the definition of classic pick, right? Is Gage actually avoided by a nice buffer with the dredge line for Smoothie. I like that, but yeah, this pick, he was a Ezreal player before Zeri even existed, Magic.
Yes.
He's been really good at this champion for a very, very long time. So Yon, you expect these performances from him on this champion and on many, many others. He's been one of the most consistent bot laners in the entire tournament, in the entire year, even last year as well, when he made the finals on the Team Liquid roster against 100 Thieves Academy. He's still playing these champions so well. Surdy,
spotted out.
He's been spotted.
Yeah, good over the wall. His whole objective is getting on top of Yon, getting on top of Ezreal as best he can, and we've already seen how difficult it is. Back when he was Akinoki, he was very well renowned for his Ezreal, and he's showing it here in this game, where the lane phase might have been a bit of a struggle. They didn't have the best time, but he's bouncing back, and you talked about the late game scaling that Ezreal surprisingly has, even compared to that of a Jinx.
Talked a lot about the bottom lane. I gotta say something about the top lane here, Magical, and to my dismay, Cubby was right. Sion is a really good pick into Renekton, and it is definitely doing a whole lot more than Renekton right now.
Well,
Cubby is a smart person.
How I see it is that the lane phase should always favor Renekton, but eventually you just get some armor, some resistances for Bradley, and you become nigh unkillable unless you want to go for the greedy build of that Blade of the Ruin King into Bradley, which then sets you up only for side lanes. So for me, I'm looking at Surdy. It is about the flanks. That's why I don't even mention him in the context of Bradley, because his job is solely to get into the back line. He is a stun bot at this point.
Yeah. Doing not a whole lot in this game, Surdy. He's tried to find these flanks, but even then, it's not very effective. Tomio, that's the decoy.
Yeah, it was decoy. Right. You got
Sometimes
debated on
tell,
that one.
You know?
Yeah.
I did.
I knew, because I'm big brain. As everyone knows. Anyways, back into this game. Speaking of big brains, Team Liquid Honda. They are a team that tends to play well when it comes to these points, when there's a lot of stress. And sometimes you see teams, especially if they're emotional teams that play from their heart and have a lot of conviction in the game, that they can punish them for overstepping, just getting a little bit too aggressive. And I talked about Cowrie giveth and Cowrie taketh. 5-1 on Jinx. He is the one that they have to make sure they peel and protect to get all the damage possible, because otherwise they cannot cut through Bradley or Armeo.
And I think this 5th Drake of the game is going to be the tipping point the real tipping point here, because Team Liquid, they've already had the lead back in their favor for a very long time, and it's only growing. But if they are able to secure the Soul Point, 3 Mountain Drakes for them, there's really no way the Evil Geniuses can cut through that, even with the Lord Dominic's Regards that Kaori so wisely did pick up as his 3rd item. Super, super tricky. But check this out.
Yeah.
Team Liquid, they're actually not too concerned with it. They're trying to take down these structures even further, as nobody can compete with Yon. And after they take this turret, Team Liquid actually are strong enough, if they read this correctly, where they can go right back into the river.
But with the scuttle grab trying being taken by Evil Geniuses, the TP coming in from 30 right behind. Here's the gravy train. It's going to be able to get the knock-up on to Surdy. They're looking for any more damage they could possibly have. And Surdy's bounced around. He goes golden, but they trade Bradley first. Now, can his zombie slow them down enough for the rest of the team? Try to collapse. Tries to get back in there. But looking at the poke damage from Team Liquid Honda, it's not enough just yet, but they have far healthier members, as they are the ones to start up the dragon.
Starting to attack this dragon here, Yon with his Mystic Shots, looking for more. The more you hit, the more cooldown you reduce. So he can look for another True Shot Barrage if he keeps firing these Mystic Shots and they keep finding their targets. Not quite so lucky with the last couple of them, as Team Liquid, they're trying to play very, very safe. They know that Bradley has a teleport available in 15 seconds, so they can play for that cooldown.
Last going over the wall. The flash in from Tomio. Yon, he's alive. He takes down the crocodile. Even if Harry has to flash out to survive, this is Team Liquid Honda. It was a fluke.
Look at Yon go.
#1 team. They're chasing down everybody on Evil Geniuses Academy, and it won't be an ace fully, but it is game fully for Team Liquid Honda.
Oh, it might be an ace fully as well. Ayla is looking for it onto
Getting
Saligo,
the flash.
root.
Bradley, he's here. He's chasing him down, even getting a little bit of movement speed. That's going to be the old burn, and that is an ace, as you called out. And Team Liquid Honda, they drop a game, but they are not done. Best of 3 suit them. They learn their lessons, the sins from Game 2, and how to battle back against Evil Geniuses Academy in the best way possible and continue their domination, as they will remain in the upper bracket.
Nicely done here, Team Liquid Honda Academy. Those are the players that we know to be the defending champions and the favorites here in the Proving Ground system. Really clean stuff in this 3rd game. They took some deficits very early on, but the team fights, that's what I'm talking about when I say that they had some clean gameplay. The 5v5s is where we know they really come alive, where players like Yon can really truly shine with all of that Ezreal damage. That's what I mean when I say that this team is clean. And that is what they provide to us in the 3rd game. It's not a clean series by any stretch of the imagination, though, Magical. 0-20 in that 2nd game. Team Liquid has a lot to think about today.
Hey, but they bounced back and they took the series. They remain in the upper bracket and will face off against Dignitas Academy soon. We're going to toss to a break, and when we come back, we'll have a host with Team Liquid Honda Academy from our host, Kanga. So make sure you stick around.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back for our post-series interview. I have Team Liquid Academy, Armeo, the jungler, joining us to chat about that very close series. It came down to the wire there, Armeo, so I want to start with that Game 3, Dragon 3. As Twitch chat put it, walks up, Giga Chad, chomps, Giga Chad, walks away. I want to hear that entire scenario from your perspective. You're the Trundle in that moment. What were the team comms like, and what were you focused on in that fight?
Since there were so many dragons, I remember stealing it. I don't remember the exact specifics before it, but I remember like they were chunked and we were like slowly being able to win. And then I thought he probably had no smite, and then I had no smite, and it was like dropping, and I have like good secure with my Q, so I was like, maybe I can yoink it. And then kind of like a stealth buff with the patch is that Trundle heals off objectives dying based on their HP. So the tankier the dragon, like because it has more health now, you get more health. So I think I killed the dragon, like healed the full instantly, and then I was like full HP, just like smacking people in the head. So like if I can go in as the dragon dies, I can like get a sudden boost of health basically, which is what happens. It's like a funny buff to Trundle, but it's actually like pretty big because you legit will heal like your entire health bar.
I did not know that that was part of it, but I'm wondering if Evil Geniuses Academy realized that. I'm sure that they're going to be checking back to see why that health all came back.
Yeah, it's funny because it also, unless I'm wrong in this, which I'm pretty sure I'm not, it doesn't matter who kills it, it just has to die. So even if they got the dragon, I would still heal.
Oh,
I'm like 90% sure on
interesting.
that, but I got in the game, I just know, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure now. But I'm pretty sure it's either
Well,
side.
I'll check the patch notes. I'll keep an eye out for it in future games. But that wasn't the only Dragon contest that happened throughout the series. And I know we even ran some of the interview footage that we had of you talking about Tomio, the jungler that you were up against. I want to give you an opportunity to chat about what that match was like against Tomio. And maybe give him some lessons on how to properly attempt a Dragon Smite steal, because he wasn't doing so well against you in that series.
I mean, yeah, it was fun playing him when he has a bit more of a functioning team. I think he hasn't had that for a lot of his academy time. To be no offense to the EG academy team in previous splits, but it just is what it is. Personally, I think he's one of the hardest opponents in academy when like he has like a game like a team that's like fair. Like if I play him in Champions or something, I would definitely find him harder than any of the other academy junglers because I would rank him second best behind me. So going up against him was a little bit like stressed out, I guess, because I knew he'd be a tough opponent. But I still think I have an edge, especially in competitive play. So I thought I would provide more to my team still, but it's fun going up against him. And my fights against him are fun, but I'm better, of course. So is what it is.
It's funny you mentioned Champs Queue because according to our standings currently, 21 points separate the two of you in Champs Queue in number
Yeah.
1 and number 2. That is
Yeah.
absolutely absurd. Do you think that there's a reason why it's two junglers at the top or why it's the two of you? Is this something that you had a conversation about ahead of time going in? Like, hey, we're going to grind, we're going to compete against each other? Or is it just kind of happening?
No, I think I've just been playing each split. I got ranked 2 in one of them. I don't know exactly how he's been doing, and then this split I'm also doing well. I think old roles can do well in both solo queue and champs queue, like any server, if you're providing more than your opponent. That's just how it is, right? That's how a ladder system works. So the meta right now, I would say, is like very heavy towards like utility junglers, like these trundle type things. So it's pretty good for me. I think I can tell when I play against Tomio, he watches Inspired, so I think he's also really good with utility champs. So it makes sense he's faring really, really well right now.
Yeah, working with him as well probably would help. I want to bring our next conversation point over to Team Liquid Academy and expectations coming into the tournament, into Proving Grounds, because after 2-0 in 100 Thieves Academy, 2-0 in Cloud9 Academy, you know, the big other heavy hitters from the regular season in your last week, it felt like there was clear favorites. How much is this series making you kind of feel, you know, like how close is the ground? How close are the rest of the teams compared to Team Liquid Academy as of right now from your perspective?
It doesn't like worry me too much. I think we weren't in our best form this week due to like various factors, like some players being sick and stuff, just like unavoidable stuff, or something that just happens. And then the game changed a lot, and I don't think we were quite adapting fast enough to like the dragons being more important and stuff. Especially in game 2, they got like free dragon timings that we should have called. This last game, we had the 5v5 at level 6 of dragon, which we did not experience in scrims, or I've not experienced recently. I was like, what is going on? Like, this is not what I expected. So I think they had a good read. Like, they were in a good spot. I think for us, it'll just like help us push forward and improve on like the patch and be a little less complacent. So for me, I think it'll actually help us in the future weeks. And even in the last Proving Grounds when we won, like there were close games. Even if we won them, there was like close series. Like all these, there were games where we're like backdooring and stealing Baron. It's just league. Sometimes you have series like this, and I don't think it's a big deal.
Have you checked in with Coach Spawn yet? Was he having like heart palpitations or anything going on watching that series? I feel like we should check in on his health.
Probably was. I assume he probably was, since it was looking a little rough in game 3. He was probably feeling good after we like stole the dragon and took their entire team out. But I'm sure before that he was like, "Oh God." Yeah, I mean he praised us for winning. Just like I forgot the term he uses, but like basically like even if the game's unclean, we came out on top. Basically, like that ability to do that, because it's pretty important in league. Because if you watch competitive matches, a lot of times it's like 15 to 15 kills. You know, there's like 3 dragons, and you just run around and team fight, and whoever wins wins. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, those scrappy fights, those scrappy games are sometimes the most entertaining and the ones you can learn the most from. So best of luck taking your lessons and your learnings, Armeo. Any final message that you have for anybody out there watching?
Thanks to the fans. Thank you, Honda. every time I say this in the interview. Thank you, Honda. We'll try to perform better in our future matches, but it was probably entertaining to watch, even though some of the champs were a bit resident sleeper like Trundle. It was a fun series to play.
It was a definite fun series to watch from the fan perspective. Thank you, Armeo, for coming on and chatting. And like I said, best of luck going into your next match.
Thank you.
With that said, let's bring back on the casters here to help close out the show. It looks like Smax is finally admitting his bias. Good job, Smax, hiding it for the entire series up until that moment. I don't even know if they're on mic. They are on mic. Okay, I have Smax on camera as well.
Oh,
How is that even hanging there?
That's just my signed Ayla jersey. No big deal.
Oh, no big deal. No big deal, right? Deal. Yeah. Magical, do you have a signed jersey? I think he's jealous. Maybe I'll come back to Magical. You know, let him.
I'm the biggest
cool
Ayla fan in the world.
A little bit.
And he just won.
He did.
Gotta flex on him a little bit.
He did just win, and like Armeo was saying, it was off of a crazy set of plays, a crazy set of, you know, honestly, games in that series, even bouncing back and forward. And I want to go back to something that we started the week with, started even Proving Grounds with, a graphic where we all predicted how many losses Team Liquid Academy would have through all of Proving Grounds. And we got to update this, or at least update who's correct, because Smax, Yumi, and Joshi all held out faith that there would not be a single game loss.
You fools!
And today, unfortunately, we're all wrong.
Yeah.
Magical with 5?
You
think there's going to be 5 losses?
You fools! I'm what?
I mean,
insane.
as you just saw,
20% on the way there.
I'm a big Ayla fan, so I had to go with him just smurfing it the entire tournament. I still do think they're going to win the whole event, but I was not expecting Evil Genius's Academy to give them so much trouble in that second game.
I don't think that going into this series, many of us expected that we would start having that narrative of who's the raid boss in the upper bracket if Team Liquid Academy drop. You said that in the broadcast, Max, and it made me start going crazy because I was looking at the bracket, I was looking at the teams remaining, I was like, is it Cloud9 Academy now? Like 100 Thieves is already knocked out, so it's gotta be Cloud9, right? Dignitas were looking pretty good, it could be them, but no. Team Liquid Academy are still up in the upper bracket. They'll move on to the semifinals against Dignitas Academy. And interestingly enough, nobody has one win. It's either 0 or then jumps right up to 2. That's kind of shocking, honestly.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Hey, also Team Liquid, they weathered the storm of the first seed curse from spring. Right in that series, almost exact same thing. It was CLG Academy against Immortals Academy in the spring, where they lost 2-1 against Immortals and got knocked down into the lower bracket.
And
you know what, Kangas?
It was a very close
I'm
officially
changing my answer from 0 to 1. So now we have somebody whose answer is 1.
There we go. Thank you, Smax, for graciously doing that for us, so the bracket or the graphic doesn't look too weird going forward. But that is, of course, it for the game for that series. Let's take a look and recap the day by looking at the bracket going forward, because it should be updated so we can see the next up match. Dignitas versus Team Liquid Honda move on to the semifinals in the upper bracket, but tomorrow, Immortals Progressive versus AOE Ginger Turmeric. Smash, I'll have you talk about that one. Magic, I'd love to get your thoughts on Cloud9 versus CLG after.
So AOE Ginger Turmeric, they obviously took the biggest upset in that first round. They looked really solid. And I've said many, many times that on their best day, AOE Ginger Turmeric is the best amateur team. And that's only gotten more true now that they've picked up Wixie for their roster. I think, to be completely honest with you, AOE Ginger Turmeric very well could defeat Immortals Progressive Academy. I do see that happening. After watching them take down 100 Thieves, I thought that matchup would be harder. And I think this matchup should be easier for them against IMT. So I'm feeling like we might have an amateur team in the upper bracket semifinals tomorrow.
I would love to believe, but I just gotta say, Immortals Academy look pretty good. They slaughtered Taco Gaming. They slaughtered DK Crew. So I don't think that we should disrespect them, as they have the 3 amateur run into that potential semifinals in the upper bracket.
True.
Arguably one of the easier runs, but magical. Cloud9 versus CLG Academy. I want to get your thoughts on that match.
I will say it's really interesting looking at that one because I see some weaknesses from both sides that they have still need to overcome. When I look at how they've been able to really get together, like Cloud9, I think are a strong team, but they've definitely had some sort of slumps, especially during the summer split. And then you look over to CLG, what was an 0-6 week to round out the entirety of Academy. Sure, they bounced back into this, but it was one of those looks where we're like, okay, they are exploitable. They have these ways that you can actually punish them. I feel like if any team's going to do it, Cloud9 are a great team at punishing small mistakes.
And reminder that Cloud9 was one of those teams that 2-0'd them in that final week, which was, yes, 0-6. It was Cloud9, Golden Guardians Academy, and FlyQuest Academy. So CLG Academy got a lot to prove in that match, of course, but that will all be matches that are played out tomorrow. If you want to check it out, make sure to stick around. Same time, same place, 3 p.m. PST is when Pick and Ban should start. A big thank you, though, to my amazing casters on the day. Smacks, it was awesome having you. Thank you for coming and joining us on the broadcast, and we'll have some more of you throughout the event. Magical with the Pantha LCS. Is that what you're going to plug? Are you just shilling Pantha LCS one more time? Follow that Twitter account, everybody. But you did a fantastic job. Thank you to everybody in production for keeping the gears rolling. Kelsey Moser, our amazing producer, who keeps all of us in line. And a very warm thank you to everybody in Twitch chat cheering on their favorite players, as well as the players themselves for putting on that performance. We will be back with more Proving Grounds as the lower half of the upper bracket quarterfinals plays out. We'll see you there.
Good night.